So this week, Bloomberg wrote a sympathetic article about famed short seller Andrew Left. Now, 2 years ago, the FBI showed up at his home. They seized computers and phones, and since then, Left has gone into a foxhole. He's waiting to learn if the Justice Department and the SEC will bring charges of stock manipulation to him. Meanwhile, the public anxiously is also awaiting the outcome as well, especially retail investors. They went to war against Left and all the other short sellers. And I got to be honest, I've had my beefs with short sellers for over 30 years because I think they have way too much latitude to create way too much havoc in a market that normally either has guardrails or should have guardrails. And I admit I love when they are squeezed because, well, I've seen them do a lot of squeezing with impunity. Arguably, it's all legal, but the tactics that I've seen are unfair, and if not illegal, they certainly should be curbed. Now, there should be no way, in fact, like, for instance, to borrow a stock, more stock than is in the float. And then I got to tell you the other thing. It's these smear campaigns. So yesterday, Left told Benzinga that he should be rewarded for exposing bad companies. This is what he said. He's exposing bad companies. And by the way, he talked about working all night long. I've worked day and night for 3 or 4 decades. I'm serious. So, but what's a bad company? That's what I'm wondering. What is a bad company? Now, if a stock is overvalued, at some point it's going to come down. But that doesn't make it a bad company. Moreover, there should be no need to go on an anti-public relations tour. I mean, right? Think about long-term investors on the buy side. They typically accumulate stock outside of the public. They don't want anyone knowing they're buying stock. So if a stock is overpriced, the short should be thrilled when the stock moves higher. I call that the inverse Warren Buffett effect. That takes us to the other side of this whole thing, the equation. And that's the media bending over backwards always to help these short sellers. Just take a look at some of these headlines. This is from earlier this year on Carvana. Listen, I understand that people in my business, they want to curry favor with the powerful people on Wall Street because they want them to come on their show. They want them as guests. Oh, we've got the CEO of this and the CEO of that. But in recent years, it's gotten worse. There's actually been scorn from the media against retail. And I think it's absolutely despicable. For instance, I have disliked this stock for ages, and I reiterate that I still dislike it. So this is Jim Cramer, right? I mean, these folks are using these buzzwords like that. By the way, this is in January of this year. You know how much Carvana is up this year? 650%. Listen, I wish Left the best of luck. And I do condemn folks that have made threats of physical harm to him and his family. Although I do also find it ironic that Bloomberg even noted in that article that he wiped his once feared Twitter account. I want you to imagine this. You're the CEO of a struggling company, you've got thousands of employees, and then all of a sudden someone pops up on TV and says that your company is worthless. Yeah, of course, there's room and a role for the shorts to be out there. There's also room for them to be squeezed. In fact, I applaud the work that Hindenburg is doing. By the way, on this note, folks, I want to make sure that Gary Gensler gets his note. MMTLP. Please look into that.